Welcome back to RBC After Class. Today's episode of Second Act will be with Katie Fogelon. She is a former dancer with the New York City Ballet and a founding trainer of the Mirror. I hope you enjoy her story.
I'm working as a fitness professional full-time right now. I kind of started out my journey just being really passionate about fitness. It's funny, not when I was dancing, I wasn't, because I just had no knowledge of it.
You're busy.
But yeah, also that. But then towards the end of my career, I really turned to yoga really as like a therapeutic practice.
Was it more of a mindful thing, or was it a combination between mind and body?
It was both. It was like, I hadn't ever had a physical practice outside of dance that felt important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly didn't know how to like make my way around a gym or any kind of like strength training. And yoga felt, or at least the kind of yoga that I was practicing, which was very like vinyasa flow, like it felt like dancing. And it was fun for me because it felt like I could connect kind of like the sequencing and the choreography of like a vinyasa class, very similar to ballet, without doing ballet. That was kind of my like little intro into like other things that weren't dance, in terms of movement. And then I started getting a little bit more into like exercise science and exercise physiology, which I really liked and it's part of the reason why I was drawn to ballet. I just liked the structure of like, why are we doing this? So then I got into like kind of more traditional strength training and conditioning and that kind of thing. I worked for a small studio in Manhattan for like a number of years doing small group classes and just kind of like getting my foot in the door there, seeing if I liked it. And it wasn't really until the last couple years where I was like, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is what I'm passionate about. Like, the amount of time that I put into continuing my education, like it became very clear that I was like, this is what I'm doing.
Did you always feel like you needed to have some type of plan, even when you were dancing at City Ballet? Like, did you always have that in the back of your mind? Like, what am I going to do after this?
Really from the beginning, I remember, and it's so silly. Like, I remember even when I got like a contract, in the back of my head, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do when this is over?
Right.
Which is just crazy to think about, especially like you're so young. I mean, in hindsight, it's like, I wish I would have taken a step back and just been able to be like, let's enjoy this.
Yeah.
And
No,
yeah.
Honestly, I feel the same way. And as a teacher now, I think that one of the biggest issues that I see is everyone's just so in a rush that they miss the lesson.
Yeah.
Like, if we could just be more immersed in the moment, you could absorb so much more than having half of your brain focused on, well, what's going to happen, and the other half on the technique or whatever the lesson may be.
Yeah.
I think that the dancers who really are present, or people, anyone more present, is going to achieve a better result.
Yeah, it's a loaded issue because we know this is not a forever thing, and who knows like how long you can do this for. So what is your plan B? Like, I don't think that that's like a bad thing. I think it's a necessary thing given like the circumstances, but it's very challenging because it prevents you, like you said, from actually like enjoying the career while you're in it and being able to like really grow and not feel like you're just bogged down.
What advice do you have for young dancers? And is there anything you wish you had done differently?
I think in general, like, you asked me when you emailed, you were like, one big question to think about is, what is your like philosophy in life? I don't think I have that, but in general, just trust the process of it, and that's something that I'm learning and is becoming more and more clear to me as I get older. And when I kind of look back at my successes and my failures, and I look at how things kind of stack up and you end up building, this little portfolio of a life. I think, just being able to be more trusting of the process so that you can be in the process and you're not outside the process and missing everything that's going on in your life.
What was it about dance that you loved as a child?
I loved moving to music. That was like the biggest most exciting thing for me and made me feel like the most connected to myself. I think I was like pretty shy as a kid. I've never liked like performing, for others, which is ironic considering it's like all I've ever done in any career.
It's honestly interesting for me too. I have to say, I've always loved the class. There was like a meditative part of it. Like I loved that I always knew what was coming next. And no matter what was going on in my life, I could always come back to the studio and everything was going to be okay. So you got into dance because you loved moving your body and the music. That sort of stayed with you into your next career.
Yeah, something that just has really become so super clear to me is I need to move my body so that I can connect to myself. Like it's the number one thing that makes me feel connected to myself. Nothing else gets me there in the same way. And it's been an interesting journey in terms of moving away from dance and then trying to figure out how I can build similar connections, get the same joy out of other kinds of movement practices, whether that be lifting weights, doing yoga, other somatic type practices, breathing exercises, all the above that can allow me to connect to myself and learn about myself. I think that's why I need movement, and I've chosen movement as that kind of like gateway for me to be a better person.
Do you still identify yourself as a dancer?
I really struggled with that when people would ask me, what do you do? It's like, I don't know, like, I didn't know what to say other than I'm a dancer. But I would feel guilty like saying that because I wasn't actually dancing at the time. And what I've come to realize is that it doesn't matter. Like I haven't danced in any kind of professional way since I retired. I've taken classes and done other stuff, but like now when people ask me, like I say that I also work in fitness, but I also say I'm a dancer, and I'm really proud of that. Like it's something that defines me, and like made me who I am. That's a big part of who I am.
What are the traits that you learned in dance that make you a successful person now?
Discipline, attention to detail. I think the ability to like practice resilience, like showing up no matter what, even if you don't feel good, you've got to just put on a smile and do it. And that trait is kind of confusing. I think especially for young dancers, and I know I went through this, like you can confuse that importance of showing up with like kind of forgetting how to take care of yourself. And that's hard. That comes, I think, with age and just learning about what happens when you don't take care of yourself. I think that those are the biggest ones that I've taken away from it.
What are your biggest challenges you face because of your dance background?
I'm so hard on myself. I think it's something that I've learned a lot through my other movement practices, and definitely strength training really taught me like the importance of being kinder to yourself on a daily basis when you're not feeling like as good as you did the previous day, or like just being able to be in the present moment so that you can trust that process and not feel like you're gonna beat yourself up if you didn't do that double turn like Tuesday as good as you did on Monday or whatever. Just little things like that can really build, and having a better practice of being able to like be in that present moment and be kinder to yourself goes a long way. And that kind of stuff over time, when you practice it, can be really powerful.
Something I've found over my teaching career is a frustration on the lack of mental training that dancers have, because I feel like there's so many athletes that train their body, their craft, and their mind. And ballet, it's like we train our craft the most. Then like I feel like we're starting to see benefit in training the body in different ways.
Yeah, a little bit.
But we have not hit the mental side of things yet.
No.
And it's a huge one. And I think that the people that I see succeeding And the people who succeeded when we were in the company had the mental peace naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who could recover really quickly and not be affected by harsh criticism.
Yeah, but that's a lot to ask out of like a 17, 18-year-old. I mean, that's just growth, you know? That's personal growth that comes oftentimes like with age and experience. And for some people, they can go through that growth period a little quicker, and others like I'm slow. Like like I needed all of that time. I could have never like gotten to the place where I am now like at back then. It just wouldn't have happened. Like I wasn't ready for it.
What are the benefits to dance education?
I think that as a for kids, any practice that's going to teach discipline is beneficial. Dance in particular can be really powerful for young kids because it teaches them so much body awareness. And I think with that body awareness can come a true understanding of yourself. It's just so beautiful because you have the music and the movement is beautiful, and you have potentially the opportunity to connect to a little bit of fantasy if you're learning like a story ballet or something like that, you know. So it can be a really good escape, I think, especially for kids that are of that age where it can be challenging.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.